Hello there, and welcome to the T Junction. I'm Jats, and today we're in Yas Mall. Now, today is the final race of the 2024 Formula One calendar here in Abu Dhabi. We saw qualifying yesterday, and I think pretty much as I sort of thought, it seems to be McLaren that are leading the way, which is a great thing, really, for McLaren. They're going to win that constructors' title, and that would be fantastic. Hopefully, Ferrari will make a fight of it and come back. No Leclerc starting way back, but Sainz hopefully should be able to score some points. What really surprised me yesterday was Lewis Hamilton when he got the bollard stuck underneath his car. Obviously, that would have disrupted the airflow, and given that the cars, the downforce is actually generated underneath the car, and when you think about the qualification, most of the cars, pretty much all of them, were within about 1.5 seconds from the car up front. Now, that basically means that even if you just go through one corner without enough downforce and you lose time, that will ruin your lap and put you in a position where there's no way you can get onto the front, towards the front of the grid. And that's what happened to Lewis Hamilton. I think essentially he lost so much time that he would surely have been on for a second or third row start. Who knows? Maybe even the front row. I mean, this would have been his final race, and I think he was really going for it. It's a real shame. We saw Toto Wolff come out and apologise to Lewis because I think Lewis initially thought it was his mistake that caused the problem. Clearly wasn't. It was the bollard that he didn't realise was stuck underneath the car. But Toto Wolff came in and apologised because they put him out a little bit late or later than they should have done. And that sort of didn't help his sort of progress, if you like, through the qualification stage. So it'll be all to play for today. It's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to the race itself, and I'm hoping that Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, two teammates for next season, will actually fly through the grid and make up some times, and just go for it, basically. So there should be some overtaking on this track. It's not always the best for overtaking, but with a bit of luck, I think two cars that are relatively quick compared to the other cars around them should be able to make some progress. So I'm really looking forward to that. What else is happening? Well, there's that spat, isn't there, with George Russell and Max Verstappen, which started in Qatar when Max Verstappen is going a little bit slowly on the racing line. George Russell came up behind him as he was starting his qualifying lap. He thought that Max sort of impeded him. Apparently, they went to the stewards, and according to Max Verstappen, certainly, which is where it started from, he sort of said, well, George really went for me. I've never seen a driver actually go for another driver like that in my life, and all the rest of it. When they came out of the actual steward's room, Max Verstappen apparently said to George Russell that he was going to, do one over on him and stick him into a wall, which is not a very nice thing to come out when there are kids that are actually watching this racing, and there are, these drivers are role models for young children that are watching Formula One. I started watching Formula One in about 1975, 76. I was something like 8, 9 years old when I watched my very first race. That's the very first race that I can remember, so it may have been before that. But essentially, you're seeing children, and you don't want kids sort of barging each other and saying, get your head into them. It's just not a nice thing. And these drivers themselves do need to be careful with the language they use and the things they come out with. Bit of a shame, but it is what it is, I suppose. It makes it exciting for us as viewers, but there are some bad sort of parts to it as well, which aren't terribly great. So it should be interesting to see how they fare, because Russell is behind Max Verstappen on the starting grid. We are just by turn one, and I hope there's no fireworks there. I'm hoping the cars all get through nice and cleanly and can, sort of progress through, and we'll see what comes out. It'll be interesting to see where the cars all shake up and how they end up. Hulkenberg's had a good qualifying session, so he should do quite well. Gasly's always having a good qualifying session, so he should do reasonably well at the start. But then you tend to find that the Haas, the V-Carbs and the Renaults, they all seem to sort of drop back. They make great starts, but then they seem to drop back through the field. I think their true pace, race pace, isn't as good as their qualifying pace. Should be interesting, I think, just to see where they actually do end up. But like I say, past history seems to show that they are not going to make too much progress in the race, but we'll see. Should be an interesting event. The actual racetrack itself is lovely. It's really hot here. It's about 28, 29 degrees during the day. We're going to see the Formula 2 race as well, which sort of starts, I think, around 1 or 1:30. So we're going to aim to get to the track for that time. We're in the Yas Mall food court at the moment, having some breakfast, and then we'll see what happens. So that's basically where we are. it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this weekend. I think my prediction is, as far as the race is concerned, that one of the McLarens will win the race. I'm sure of that. I'm hoping it's going to be Lando Norris. It'd be great to see him win, but equally, Piastri's good enough to win. He's shown it. So he's a class act, and I think it would be great to see either of those two McLaren drivers win. As far as everybody else is concerned, I'm hoping Lewis Hamilton can make it into the top 5. It'd be brilliant if he could get a podium, but I think from where he is on the grid, about 16th, I think he is on the grid, that's going to be a tall order. Unless there's some safety cars, which sometimes there are at this track, so it should be quite good. Let's hope there's some redemption for him. He seems to have had the Abu Dhabi curse again, as he did in 2021. So let's see if he can shift that bogey today and get onto that podium. And it'll be great. It'll be great because it's his final race for Mercedes-Benz. We're here supporting him. I have my Mercedes cap with me to, I'm wearing a cotton shirt today because it's so hot here. The black T-shirt with the black dye was really heavy. As far as racing's concerned, I think Verstappen will probably get onto the podium. He always does. He always finds a way of being able to do that. And when we were in the queue yesterday, we were with a couple of Dutch people who were wonderful, actually. They sort of agreed that whilst they were Max Verstappen fans, they weren't terribly happy with some of the barging around that he does on the track. So, I think it shows that not all Max Verstappen fans feel that Max's, do or die attitude is a good thing to do. Quite a few of them do agree that at times he does overstep the mark, which is probably true, I think, on balance. And it'll be interesting. So, my prediction for the race is going to be a McLaren win. I think Max Verstappen on the podium. I'm hoping one of the Mercedes cars ends up on the podium as well, whether it's George or hopefully Lewis. And then the rest will follow suit, I think. Probably the Ferraris, I think. Then I would hope, well, I'm hoping it's going to be the Astons that come in shortly after that. So let's see. Anyway, I'm going to check out now. Thank you for checking in. I will catch you later.